Hello there. My name is Jedi Master Jeff Paget, and I am here to guide you young Padawan learners on your training today. Today, I am here to sell you on an ancient story that is worth remembering the good and not the bad. I am here to sell you on the idea that you are wrong about a Star Wars movie, and here is why. The Last Jedi. I can already see the comment section saying that I am wrong. Remember, this is purely based on my opinions, and we are entitled to our own opinions. Stick with me, learners, though. I am in no way saying that this movie is perfect, just overhated and a better movie than you give it credit for. Point number one, Jedi Master Luke running away to Oct 2 fits his character so perfect. Luke has always been afraid. He ran away from Yoda's training in episode 5 because of his connection, and that is why he runs. Luke has always been that annoying kid from Tatooine that just wants to go to the Tassi station to pick up some power converters with his friends. His failure is the key hubris of the Jedi he mentions alone, thinking that the Jedi have pure control of the Force. But light cannot exist without the dark. His failure is equal to that of the great Jedi Master Yoda with Anakin Skywalker. Both powerful Jedi who could not save an apprentice from the darkness that was consuming them. This fight alone is the best fight in the entire sequel trilogy. The movement is faster than any other fight in the trilogy, and it's just not even a close argument. The first movie makes sense for her taking small shots and then fleeing. But then we get to the Rise of Skywalker where they clash and hold, and it's just abysmally bad. I understand that Rey didn't have proper lightsaber training in the first movie. I get it. But when she meets Luke, somewhere along the lines, he would have had to given her some training. Luke at first did not have any lightsaber training. I'm not going to sit here and say he did. But you're going to tell me that he didn't turn all those dark troopers into Swiss cheese at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2? Which means that he had to give some proper lightsaber training to Rey at some point, which you can see her try to increase in Rise of Skywalker with just worse fights in the movie. This fight has the second most tension between two characters on screen in Star Wars, falling behind Anakin and Obi-Wan. A master not only looking at his apprentice he's failed, but his nephew makes this scene even more dramatic. Now the argument, well, Luke was able to save Darth Vader, who was the worst in the galaxy, and he's just gonna off his nephew? I get it. That line is specific, though. That gets repeated numerous, is that it was more darkness than he could have ever imagined, meaning Kylo was further gone than Darth Vader was. He never felt the darkness of Vader. He only ever felt Vader's conflict. And it isn't Luke who saves Vader. It's Anakin's love for his son that defeats the hatred of Vader, the conflict within. If you think that this part of the movie is bad, your argument is completely invalid. Luke in this scene alone proves his strength is greater than any other Jedi. Luke force projects himself not only across the galaxy, but transforms himself into the last memory that Kylo Ren has of him, and even uses the lightsaber that he was hunting down, but just moments before saw shatter right before his eyes. Luke's passing after this moment makes absolute sense as well. He's finally at peace. He's no longer torn from failing his best friend and his sister and getting solace with his nephew all in the matter of minutes. He no longer had to look out to the future, and for the first time was looking into the present, helping the rebellion one final time. Obi-Wan and Yoda both died at peace. Why could Luke not deserve the same? Also, the use of the practical puppet is the perfect homage to the original trilogy. Everyone lost their minds when Yoda became CGI and was flipping all over the place, and when he fought Count Dooku and Darth Sidious. But not only is this a nod to George and the universe that he's created, but also Frank Oz reprising his role after retiring is top tier. As well, to give Luke one final lesson: to pass on what he has learned. Not only his success and mastery, but weakness, folly, and failure. Yes, failure most of all. And if you can't apply that to the real world, you miss the entire point of that scene. Now, I said this movie wasn't perfect. Canto Bight is the very first example of how this movie is not perfect. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't move the plot of the story at all, minus a slight character development for Finn that they toss out the window immediately in Rise of Skywalker. I think Finn risking it all for the Resistance would have been a better end to his story than they can fly now. He was a stormtrooper. He would have known their tech. He would have known that they could fly. I agree with the haters on this part. You can remove it from the movie. Nothing really changes besides how Finn and Rose get on board the Star Destroyer. The Holdo maneuver. Cinematically a great shot. In all practicality, makes no sense. If it's as simple as pointing a Trojan horse star cruiser at the First Order fleet and then going into hyperspace, then why would the rebellion not do the same thing to the Death Stars in the original trilogy? And the people of Naboo doing the same thing to the Trade Federation in the Phantom Menace. Besides that, it doesn't do anything besides stall for more time, which I guess was the entire point. Holdo should have let the higher commands know, especially the best pilot that they had, who understands as soon as Leia tells him. Like, communication is the only thing that needs to happen. And I think this scene is more impactful if Poe does a 180 and flips and agrees with Holdo and gets the entire Resistance to back her as well. Now to compare the movies. The Force Awakens. It's been my argument over and over again. This movie is just a combination of A New Hope and A Phantom Menace. It is just full of nostalgia. Nostalgia does not equal a great movie. There's a lot of issues that this movie has. There's a lot of goods in this movie as well. But really, you just start on a different desert planet with an orphaned kid who meets a scoundrel in the Millennium Falcon. You're telling me that's not the exact same start to A New Hope? And this movie, I don't even need to make an argument, but we're going to anyways. This was the worst attempt at fan service I have ever seen. They brought back Palpatine. That somehow made the movie worse. The dialogue being awful. Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow made it into the final cut. They fly now? They fly now is not comedy. This movie has one good moment in the entire movie, and that's between Kylo and Han Solo, who, in my opinion, should have been Anakin. I feel like this scene would have been more impactful to Kylo Ren's story if he had spoken to his grandfather, which is what brings him back to the light. But I understand why it was Han, because of the torment that Han offing his dad had on Kylo Ren himself. And then there's a fan edit of Force Ghost being behind Rey when she defeats Palpatine. Makes this movie instantly better. And if a fan edit's making your movie better, it means it's not a good movie. Again, this discussion was not to sell you on the idea that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. It's just better than you give it credit for. All Star Wars movies have their bad moments, but those just seem easier for fans to move past than the moments that they don't like in this movie. Hopefully I was able to change your opinions about this movie, and feel free to leave a comment. We will continue the discussion in there. If you like the video, make sure to leave it a like, and always make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. That way you can always stay up with my content offline. I also received an extra hologram from Respawn recruits who have asked me, Wise Jedi Master, to let them know how I feel about the respawn challenges. And I'll say first off, these challenges have really brought out my creative side. I've always been a theater advocate. I've always been a creative go-getter. And with my content creation, I feel like I was been lackluster with that as of late. But these challenges every week have really brought out the best side of me as a content creator. So I wouldn't change anything about how it's been going on so far. So Respawn, just to really give you my opinion, keep doing what you're doing. These challenges are a lot of fun. They bring out the best of all of us creators. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, and may the force be with you.